Okay, let's talk autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 19. We are still in 1993, and speaking about Jim Sinclair's article, Don't Mourn for Us, that was published in Our Voices newsletter, but also shared to the International Autism Conference that was held in Toronto, Canada, and a partnership between Autism Society of America and Autism Society Canada that year. So I've read the first two parts already. We're going to wrap it up in this session and hear about what caused so much uproar around these autistic self-advocates, and the pushback on this piece in particular was wow. So let's see what else Sinclair had to say. All right, so picking up by you didn't lose a child to autism. You lost a child because the child you waited for never came into existence. That isn't the fault of the autistic child who does exist, and it shouldn't be our burden. We need and deserve families who can see us and value us for ourselves, not families whose vision of us is obscured by the ghosts of children who never lived. Grieve, if you must, for your own lost dreams, but don't mourn for us. We are alive, we are real, and we are here waiting for you. This is what I think autism societies should be about. Not mourning for what never was, but exploration of what is. We need you. We need your help and your understanding. Your world is not very open to us, and we won't make it without your strong support. Yes, there is tragedy that comes with autism, not because of what we are, but because of the things that happen to us. Be sad about that. If you want to be sad about something, better than being sad about it though, get mad about it and then do something about it. The tragedy is not that we're here, but that your world has no place for us to be. How can it be otherwise? As long as our own parents are still grieving over having brought us into the world. Take a look at your autistic child sometime, and take a moment to tell yourself that who that child is not. Think to yourself, this is not my child that I expected and planned for. This is not the child I waited for through all those months of pregnancy and all those hours of labor. This is not the child I made all those plans to share all those experiences with. That child never came. This is not that child. Then go do whatever grieving you have to do away from the autistic child and start learning to let go. After you've started that letting go, come back and look at your autistic child again and say to yourself, this is not my child that I expected and planned for. This is an alien child who landed in my life by accident. I don't know who this child is or what it will become, but I know it's a child stranded in an alien world without parents of its own kind to care for it. It needs someone to care for it, to teach it, to interpret and advocate for it. But because this alien child and because this alien child happened to drop into my life, that job is mine if I want it. And Sinclair ends with this: if that prospect excites you, then come join us in strength and determination and hope, and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime is ahead of you. And that was originally, the entire piece was originally published in the Autism Network International newsletter, Our Voice, Volume 1, Number 3, in 1993. So this is from 1993. Autistic adults are speaking. And these parent-founded and parent-run autism organizations are very, very, very aware that we all exist out here. But the message Sinclair was sharing with parents was not the message that these autism organizations wanted shared with parents. It didn't support their narrative, and it didn't support their agenda, and it didn't support the goals they had set for themselves. So, wow, talk about some background here. This piece was submitted to the Autism Society of America the year before, 1992, and it was rejected. And the president of this organization at that time told the board to reject it as well. So it slipped in over on Autism Society Canada because they hadn't been told to not accept it. And this was the next year. So it was submitted, it was accepted by Autism Society Canada, and Jim Sinclair gave this presentation in 1993. It was just pivotal to see what it took to get that autistic voice there, and then it's pivotal to see the aftermath and the fallout, the pushback, and the Autism Wars just all over again here pretty quick. So just some inclusion here of what was happening in autism organizations with the rise of parent-founded autism organizations. We have in 1991 the Marcus Institute being launched by Bernie and Billy Marcus in Atlanta, Georgia. 1992, of course, ANI, Sinclair, Kathy Grant, and Donna Williams founded, and it was Autistic founded, but that's the only one you'll hear for a while. In 1992, there was another parent-founded autism organization, the Dan Marino Foundation, by parent Dan Marino and Claire Marino. Let's see. 93, we have the Holy Rod Foundation being established by Rodney and Holly Robinson Pete, parents of an autistic. And also in 1993, we have Families for Effective Autism Treatment, or FEAT, F-E-A-T, being established and launched by a group of parents with some professionals who wanted to improve early intervention services in Sacramento, California area. I am familiar with FEAT, living in the Central Valley of California. They had a chapter here. I don't know if they still do. But also, let's note something else that happened in 1993. So, also in 1993 was a follow-up study to Lovaas's, Ivar Lovaas study that was published in 1987 that demonstrated following 40 hours a week of treatment, 9 out of 19 autistic children developed typical spoken language, increased IQs by 30 points on average, and were placed in regular classrooms. A 1993 follow-up study found that 8 maintained their gains and were indistinguishable from their typically developing peers, scoring in the normal range of social and emotional functioning. Now, his studies were limited because Lovaas did not randomize the participants or treatment groups. This produced a quasi-experiment in which he was able to control the assignment of children to treatment groups. His manipulation of the study in this way may have been responsible for the observed effects. The true efficacy of this method cannot be determined since his studies cannot be repeated for ethical reasons. More soon.